Welcome to our 4th meters training video on the Kenwood TS2000 radio. My name is Rick Frost and my call is Kilo 4 Romeo Echo Foxtrot. In this program we'll look at how to use the TS2000's internal antenna tuner. We'll also explore the radio's menu system. So let's get started. In this segment we're going to look at the internal antenna tuner that's built into the Kenwood TS2000. The button we're going to look at is the button that's located right here. It's on the left hand side of the radio. The button itself says AT, and above it in orange you'll see ANT1/2. And this is the button we're concerned about. This is the button that turns the internal antenna tuner on and off. On the display you'll see AT, and beside it, antenna 1 or antenna 2. The AT with the TX beside it is showing you that the tuner is turned on, and then beside it, it shows you the selection. So by just pushing the button, the AT button once, you'll see that now the tuner's turned off. Now, if we were using an external tuner, this is how we would operate the radio. But I would think that very few, probably none of the locations that you'll be at will be using an external tuner. So if it's off like this, you'll need to turn the antenna tuner on. You just hit the AT button once, and you'll just see the display come up. We do need to also select which of the two HF inputs that this is going to affect. And to select that, again, the ANT1/2 that's above it, we do that with the function key. So we're going to hit the function key one time. You'll notice that the LED lights up for that, showing it's ready to do the function. And then we're going to hit that same AT key again. And you'll see now that it has ANT2. And so the function key just lets us swap between input 1 and input 2 for HF on the back of the radio. Almost always you're going to be using HF1, so we'll move that back to antenna 1. The radio will remember which antenna is selected for each band. So if you do happen to have, say, an 80-meter antenna on one and a 40-meter antenna on two, when you're in those bands, the radio will automatically switch back and forth when you go to each band. This is kind of convenient. The one thing that's not real obvious is tuning, and you do need to run the antenna tuner when you use the radio. Now the radio will remember, again, as it remembers each band which is selected. It'll also remember the last time that it tuned on that band and will select that. But it's good practice to periodically go ahead and run the antenna tuner, and that way it'll be set up for the lowest SWR. To run the tuner, and this is probably one of the few things that's not obvious, is that you push the AT button and hold it down. And the unit will go into a cycle where you actually tunes the tuner based on the input. And it'll last just a second or two. If it lasts more than 10 seconds, you know you've got a problem. So I'm going to go do it now, and you'll kind of see the effect of it. One thing you want to make sure is that you're not actually tuning on a frequency that's in use. So we'll turn up, and there's no one on a frequency that we're looking at right now. So we're just going to hit the antenna tuner, hold it down, and you notice that tuned now is set up for that particular frequency. Took maybe 2 seconds, and that's pretty normal. Again, if it lasts more than 10 seconds, you might have an issue. It will actually go about 20 seconds, and then it'll time out on itself. So that's really all there is to setting up the antenna tuner and actually running the tuner, the automatic tune on it. So again, you just push down the AT button and let go of it, and you notice that time it took a moment because it was closer to the frequency and being tuned up. So that's all there is to the AT button and using the automatic tuner on the TS2000. Let's take a look at the menu system on the Kenwood TS2000. To get into the menu system, It's really very simple. We're just going to hit the menu button that's listed on the radio here. It's the button at the top, just to the right of the large VFO knob. It says menu. So when we hit that one time, it puts us in menu mode. And you'll see at the bottom display 3 things have come up. The number of this particular item. On the right side, we're cycling through a description of that. And then the middle one is the actual setting. So in this particular case, we're looking at item number 20. It's RX equalization, and it's currently set to conventional. And the way this is set up in the 2000 is that there are 2 menus. There's an A menu and a B menu. And that's indicated by the AB that's beside the frequency. Don't let this confuse you. When you're in normal VFO mode, that's normally indicating the 2 different VFOs that are available, either B or A. If I hit the AB button, it lets us cycle back and forth between the 2 frequencies that are currently in VFO mode. But when I hit the menu button and I'm in the menu mode, the AB is indicating the 2 different menus that are available, either the A menu or the B menu. Typically, the A menu will be set up for voice communications, and the B menu will be set up for digital communications. But it could be any way depending on your particular configuration at your location. So to change back and forth between that, it's probably what you would think. We're just going to hit the A/B button here to a little bit to the right of the menu button. Again, it's A/B. And I hit that once, and you notice now I'm in B menu. And the interface has changed a little bit because you can see that some of the things in the menu have been turned off or turned on. So again, if we're in menu mode and we hit the AB button, that just cycles back and forth between the 2 internal menus that built into the 2000. To come out of that, we just hit the menu one more time, puts us back in regular operational mode. The second thing we want to look at is actually making changes in the menu itself. So to do that, we're going to hit the menu one time, puts us in menu mode. Again, you'll notice that we're on menu item 20. It's RX equalization, and we're currently set up for conventional equalization. This is indicated also above the frequency. You'll see that EQ with the R for receive there's a little icon there that shows you that. If we wanted to make a change to this, it's really very simple. We're really just going to go up and down with the negative and plus keys that are part of the menu, sub, plus, and minus. These really 4 keys are what will let us move around in the menu system. So if I was going to change it, if I hit the minus key, as I do it each time, it'll cycle through all of the choices for that particular item. So starting with off, if I hit the plus key, it goes to high boost, plus key one more time, there's a pass, the next one's bass boost, conventional, and then a use it or fine. So the minus and plus keys let us cycle through the choices for that particular menu item. And you don't have to save it or do anything. Once you've made the change, it's permanent in the radio. Again, to come out of the menu system, we'd hit the menu button one time to come back out of the menu system, and we've made that change. So let's look at another one on how we get to it. So if we go back in the menu system, and you'll notice now that we're on 20. If I wanted to go to one of the other menu items, you notice the multi-channel, the multi-knob on the right, which is what we use to select a lot of things. The LED's lit on it, and this is when I rotate it, it lets me change between the various different menu items. There's 1 through 61 different items, I believe, on the main level of the menu. So then I'm just going to rotate the knob to go to the next one that I'm interested in looking at. So we looked at 20. 21 happens to be transmit equalization. So when I'm transmitting, this is the effect that the digital processing is going to have. And again, I have it set to conventional. Conventional really just kind of rolls off the lows and boosts the mid-range. the curve that it displays. But again, if I want to make a change in that, the plus and minus keys let me do that. So I could cycle through and either turn that off or cycle and increase the highs or whatever I wanted to do. Again, I'm going to leave it conventional. And that's all there is to making a selection. Now, the first, this 0 through 61 choices, let's go to number 50. So we're going to rotate the multi-knob, go up to 50. And you'll see when I get there, what's listed is push sub. So for the 50 group, there's a series of A, B, C, D choices under 50. And these are all related to packet. And so it's telling you what to do. You're just going to push the sub button, which is the button here next to the plus, minus, and main keys. If I push the sub button one time, and it pushes me into the sub menu 50A. And then at that point, I can come over to the multi-knob and rotate to B, C, and so forth through that menu. There happens to be through F, and then it rotates back to A again. So that's the sub-menu, and you really only have this one level further in any of the menu items. So that's how they're increasing the number of choices, but they tend to be grouped in things that are pertinent to a particular subject. In this case, it's packet. So I'm in a sub-menu. You can tell by the A that's beside the 50. To move back up into the main menu level, I'm going to hit main, which kind of makes sense. So I hit the main button, and you notice now I'm back up to 50, and when I rotate the knob, it's going to rotate in the main menu numbers. So that's how you get in and make adjustments to the menu system in the radio. You just hit the menu key, takes you into the menu, rotate the multi-knob to the one you're interested in working with. When you get there, you can either hit plus or minus to make the change, or if it comes up and says push sub, then we'll push the sub key here. That'll take us down into the menu further, and then we can rotate and find the thing we're interested in changing. And then when we get there, we can actually use the plus or minus key to make the change in that particular menu. You can leave it in at this level and hit the main menu button and come out. And then when you hit the menu button again to go back into it, it's going to be at that same location in the sub menu. So it will stay kind of where you're at if you're making adjustments to the radio. But you will want to come back out by hitting the main menu key. So that's how we get into the menu system and make adjustments to the radio. Again, you shouldn't have to make these too very often, but for instance, if you're using the internal TNC for the radio, you have to turn that actually on and off. So you go to the menu system, go over to item number 55. Now you notice I'm trying to go to 55 and I'm not. I'm in the sub menu. So I've got to back out to hit the main button, back out to the main menu, and then rotate over to 55. And you notice the packet operation, if I wanted to turn the internal one on and off, it's currently set to off. To turn it on, I would just hit the plus key, and that would be on, and it would be operational. I'm going to leave it off and go ahead and back out of the menu by hitting the menu button. So that's how you use the menu system on the 2000. Hopefully that'll make it easy for you. There are a lot of buttons on the radio that keep you from having to get into the menu very often, but every once in a while you will, and when you will need to do that, it's easy to do. Just hit the menu button, make the changes using the group of buttons here that's just below it, and you should be good to go.